The best that ever did it? Are you kidding me? But anyway, I digress. Rick Pitino's a clown. You know the emoji? Think about it. Look, picture in your brain, Die Hard Nation. That emoji, the clown, Rick Pitino.
The Diehards, weeknights from 8 to 10 Eastern on the Sports Map Radio Network.
Sports Kings with Mean Gene.
I got an email yesterday, and they said, Mean Gene, we love your show. Sports Kings is all good, but you guys are not talking hockey, okay? And I replied back, okay, well, I don't know if you realize or not, but we are black. And we don't know a lot about hockey, okay? I'm sorry. We're trying our best. We get you some scores, but I'll be damned if we're going to sit up here and talk about something we don't know about.
Sports Kings, weekday afternoons from 4 to 6 Eastern.
You're listening to Western Reserve Radio, WRDB, The Scourge, a part of the Sports Map Radio Network.
Progressive presents the Sports Flash on Western Reserve Radio.
Toronto's Vlad Guerrero Jr. joined Vlad Sr. to become the first father-son duo to win the All-Star Home Run Derby, beating Tampa Bay's Randy Arozarena 25-23 in the final round on Monday. Guerrero beat Julio Rodriguez 21-20 in the semifinals after the Mariners star hit a record 41 in the first round in front of his hometown fans. Rodriguez was looking to repeat as winner from last season. He was the last of the 4 semifinalists to swing, and the first of the finalists, setting a final round record for homers to top Pete Alonso's 23 from 2 years ago. Guerrero's dad, Vlad Sr., won the 2007 Home Run Derby. The All-Star Game itself is tonight in Seattle. Yankees star Garrett Cole starts for the American League. He'll face Zach Gallen from Arizona. For lightning fast updates, download the Score app. It's free and one of North America's most popular sports apps. That's the Sports Flash. Chuck Sanders, Western Reserve Radio.
Right now at Wendy's, when you buy either Dave's Single, Spicy Chicken Sandwich, Medium Frosty, or 10-piece nuggets, you can get another for just $1. Your dollar never tasted so good. So it's obvious what everyone will get, right?
Definitely nugs
Spicy
and
chicken
a
sandwich,
Dave's Single and a Frosty for me.
And a Frosty.
Okay, who said Frosty and a Frosty? Pick your obvious choice. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's, buy one, get one for $1.
Limited time only. Price of participation may vary. U.S. Wendy's, valid for item of equal or lesser value. Cannot be combined in a combo or any other offer.
This radio commercial was made to convince you to stop speeding. We can't use siren sound effects on the radio, so we'll use other equally jarring sound effects to get your attention. Like telling you that whether you drive a little over the speed limit or a lot, you can crash just the same. You could hurt yourself, or worse, others.
I'm at the scene of the collision.
And the damage you cause will be beyond repair. See, we didn't have to use crash or siren sounds after all. Speeding catches up with you. Brought to you by NHTSA.
Mill Creek Golf Course is the Valley's leader for golfing fun with a practice range, short game area, and hole 55 bar and grill all on site. Mill Creek Golf Course features a friendly PGA professional staff available for instruction, along with 36 challenging holes designed by the legendary Donald Ross. Don't forget family fun night golf on Fridays and Saturdays for just $25. For details and tee times, call 330-740-7112 or go online to millcreekmetroparks.org.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Western Reserve Radio at westernreserveradio.com on the Live 365 network and the Live 365 app.
Golf in the Mahoning Valley starts at Mill Creek Golf Course. Come out to the 36 beautiful hole design course by Donald Ross, and golf lessons are available by calling the team shop at 330-740-7112. Don't forget about family fun nights on Friday and Saturday evenings, a family of 4 with cart for only $25. Or visit the Wick Recreation Area and the lighted Par 3 course. Book your tee time today at 330-740-7112 or online at millcreekmetroparks.org.
Located in Applewood Estates in Boardman Township, the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club offers a pleasant family environment. Choose a membership that meets your needs and enjoy a relaxing venue that includes not only swimming for the family, but also youth activities such as competitive swimming, tennis, and more. Enjoy the friendly atmosphere all summer long with the staff and members of the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club. For more information, go to applewoodswimandtennis.com or call 330-953-2833.
During the fall and winter, grilling season never ends, and Gessler Propane is your local supplier that makes sure you get your hard-earned money's worth. Why go to gas exchanges to pay higher prices for tanks not filled to capacity? Gessler Propane makes sure you're prepared for year-round grilling with 100% filled tanks at a reasonable cost. See Bob Monday through Friday, 10 to 4, and Saturday, 9 to 3 at Gessler Propane, 702 Youngstown Poland Road, Struthers, or call 330-755-9119. Gessler Propane. They got gas.
Meet Josh.
Hi, everybody.
Josh is a high school basketball player, solid shooter, great teammate.
Hey, don't forget my tenacious D.
And he's my son.
Uh-huh.
So, what does Josh do to be the best basketball player he can be?
I play tennis.
Studies show that student athletes here in Ohio who play more than one high school sport are more likely to excel. Tennis does more than improve Josh's conditioning. It gives him a fresh competitive outlet, reduces the risk of injury by cross-training, and introduces him to different coaching techniques and new friends.
Don't get me wrong, hoops are my first love. Tennis just gives me a little break.
So when the new season begins, Josh isn't burned out on basketball. He's eager to play.
Back after a week off for the holiday, it is By All Means here on Western Reserve Radio, Season 4, Episode 23, the 140th all-time episode of By All Means, presented by Mill Creek Golf Course. Visit millcreekmetroparks.org for more information. Find us on Facebook, Western Reserve Radio, on Twitter at WR_radio. Download the Live 365 app or tune in or go to westernreserveradio.com, all part of the iMeda1 network. Like we have done the last 3 years, we're going to talk to a lot of high school football coaches leading up to the start of the season, which will be the earliest ever on the 17th of August. So, wow, it's a little more than a month away from the start of the season. And we'll have 2 games for you here on Western Reserve Radio and Sports Radio 1240. But we started off in my backyard as we go to the head coach of the Niles Red Dragons, Coach Perry. How are you, sir?
Doing great. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Well, you know, like I said, I can walk across the street and watch practice. I figured you should be the first coach that I have on.
Well, that's every morning. We take great pride in trying to wake you up when we get going. So, yeah, I appreciate the gesture.
So let's start not with football, but with the continued improvements that continue to go on at Bo Ryan Stadium. And this year, I heard a lot of noise over there, and it looks like you've got a brand new, beautiful weight room.
Well, we've been living in a construction zone for about 3 months, but I can tell you as of today is well worth it. Tremendous addition to our already great facility, but $250,000 weight room we just put in, including a new roof that the school provided, but most of the project funded by the Niles Frontliners. And, you know, I'm sure you've seen the new scoreboard and the new metal bleachers. We're running out of excuses not to win them all. So I get the message loud and clear. It's tremendous, the program we have going at Niles.
Now, I know you've been practicing for a little while, and I asked you this earlier, but we weren't on the air. 7-on-7s, passing scrimmages, anything like that upcoming for the Dragons?
Yeah, we don't do as many of those as a lot of teams, but we do actually have a couple of them coming up. We got one this Thursday versus Sharon, and then next week I think McDonald's coming over, and we got a youth camp going next week. So it's definitely you know, that busy time of year. So we've all said goodbye to our spouses, and we're in it for the long haul moving forward here.
Now, what time do those start, and are they open to the public?
They usually are open to the public, and we always get a nice turnout. I think we're going this Thursday at 6:30, and then probably about the same time on next Tuesday. So I also want to plug that youth camp we got going next Monday and Wednesday, free to all Niles City School students. So it's just something we try to do to get, you know, kids excited about football at a young age. So that starts at 5 o'clock on Monday and Wednesday. So any Niles students out there, we'd love to have them.
Coach, what are the numbers like this year, 10 through 12? What do you have planned for you this year?
10 through 12, I think we have about 45 kids. Numbers certainly aren't what they were, 15, 20 years ago, that's for sure. But at the same time, we're a little bit excited about some of the quality we have coming back.
Well, I'm going to ask every coach this because I think this is the biggest topic I've heard talking to coaches. Does the season start too soon, and does it last too long?
I think most people are going to tell you that they're not a huge fan of the 16-team format. I'm certainly in that camp as well. I just think it's, that used to be a lot of fun getting, special getting in there when you really had to earn it. And then I also not a fan of, the 16-1 and 15-2 matchups. I just think there's too much, especially in some regions. I just think the disparity there is too great. But, as far as the season going early, I mean, that's been creeping up on us for a while. I will say in some instance that the kids are a little lucky because the two-a-days aren't what they used to be. I think I counted them up. We might have only 7 two-a-days this year. So that whole camp grind is no longer a thing. So I imagine the kids like that part. From our end, at least last year, they pushed some of these padded days into July so that we can get acclimated before we, go out and scrimmage. So I would prefer it to be later, but I don't see that changing, so it's not something we fret about.
What's a good number for you for the playoffs? Is it, back to the early 90s when it was 4? Is it 8? What would you like to see?
Well, I think 8's a good number. Now, if you look at the argument that had happened when they were trying to go to 12, I think the year that we finished 7-3, and I think Canfield might have been 7-3, we both had more computer points than the team in a different region that won the state championship that year. And then the name of the schools is escaping me. So I saw the argument in the 12 with the bye made a lot of sense to me. I was on board with that. And especially I thought, the one region that stands out, and we just moved down to 4 last year, but Division III, Region 9 is really loaded with teams. So, you might have to win 9 games some years to even get in. And I thought that was maybe a little too aggressive. So I was okay with the 12, but I think the 16 is way, way too far the other way.
Coach, I know you've got a lot of experience coming back this year. Does the pressure to succeed go up knowing you've got that experience back with you?
Well, I don't know if that's what puts the pressure on, but certainly living through a 2-8 season puts a lot of pressure on all of us, and not from the outside. A little tough to show your face after you go through something like that. It was a tough year because of what we dealt with. What made it not so tough was, I thought our kids were pretty resilient from it, and I do think we got better as the year went on, which certainly was a positive. But we're looking forward to. We're done licking our wounds. We're looking forward to going out there and turning this thing around.
Coach, not to bring up bad memories, but you gave up over 30 points a game last year. Has defense been a bigger focus, more of a focus this year than normal?
Yeah, certainly it is. And, we were transitioning from an even front team to an odd front team. And in the middle of that, we, just in key areas, we just couldn't stay healthy. Had a lot of issues there. And then, at times we just did not execute. No other way to put it. We can't really, just push the blame away. So it's certainly, to be at a championship level, you got to cut that number 33 in about half. So we got a lot of work to do on that side of the ball. The good news is, at least early in camp, our defense has definitely taken it to our offense. So, that's obviously a positive sign. But you have to get down. I think in today's day and age, I don't think it's back to the 10, 11 points a game that used to be able to do in the 80s, 90s. But you better be able to hold people around under 3 touchdowns or somewhere in that area, or you're gonna really have to outscore people, and you don't want to get into that thing.
Coach Perry, head coach of the Niles McKinley Red Dragons, who is in his 6th season. And Coach, to kind of go back on that experience, how much does it help having an experienced starting quarterback like Budak back, are you able to maybe expand the playbook a little bit more in year 2 for him?
Yeah, certainly. And with Anthony, it wasn't just that he was, first-year starter. He didn't move into Niles till June. He didn't know anyone on the team. He didn't know any of the coaches. A completely new system. He had come from a school that had run the triple option, so, passing on, on their end of it was completely different with what we were trying to do for him. We've actually kind of looked at his skill set from that triple option and realized, hey, why don't we do some of these things that he's been doing since he was in middle school and incorporated a little bit of that. That's not to say we're going to run the triple option, but Anthony's he's a big kid. He's 6'4", he's over 200 pounds, and this camp season on a laser time he was around 4'7", something like that. And for a big kid like him, I mean that's really scooting. So we got to utilize his skill set more, and I do know that he certainly feels a lot more comfortable year 2 in here. So we're really excited to get him back.
Coach, I know you're focused on your team, but this season seems like it's going to be an interesting one. We had so many experienced quarterbacks last year. We end up with 3 teams, playing in state championship games. I really don't know what to expect across the board this year because we've got a lot of, except for your team, there's a lot of schools that have new quarterbacks under center.
Yeah, and that's true. And to be honest with you, I'm the worst person to ask because I've been so dialed in on who we are and what we're trying to become that I probably couldn't even answer that for you. I just know in the NE8 that you better buckle it up each week. And I know some of the schools have a lot returning, maybe not at quarterback, but there is a lot of excellent. One area where we're obviously a little concerned is up front. And I look in our league and, there's a lot of teams that have a lot returning up front. We have a lot returning up front, but, you can make the argument we have 1 starter coming back, and you can make the argument that we got 6 starters coming back up front because we played just so many guys because we couldn't stay healthy up front, throughout the year. So that'll be the key to us is finding those mix of those guys up front and, obviously paving the way for Anthony to stay upright, and then, of course, Antoine carrying the ball.
You mentioned the NE8, but you look at your schedule as a whole, and it presents a lot of challenges, and it starts right off playing on the first night you could play. You're hosting Howland on that first Thursday. That'll be the Sports Radio 1240 Western Reserve Radio game of the night that night. Do you like playing on Thursday? Do you like being one of the first teams to strap it up when it really counts?
Yeah, playing Thursday, even if you do in the middle of the year, it's fun. It's a change of pace to kick off the high school football season. I think it's been great for us. I mean, we've had great crowds at that game. What I guess I don't like in some ways is that we're playing Howland, just because that game means so much to not just me, not just our players, but to all of Niles. So, it does provide for great focus in the off season, but it's a lot of pressure for game 1. You'd like to have a tune-up, and this is not that.
When you look at that, does it make the limited 2 days that you mentioned and the practices, is it more hyper focused knowing that it is Howland to begin things?
I think so, yeah. And we had gone through before that. It was Girard week 1 for years, so. Whichever way you want to do it, those are our 2 biggest rivals. But we will not look at anything other than what we believe Howland is doing. We haven't looked at anything, since last November. So it's great amount of focus on who they are and what they're doing. And, all hands on deck to try to get week 1 taken care of, which last year was one of our only 2.
Couple minutes left with Coach Perry from Niles. And Coach, you mentioned Antoine Gardner, your senior running back that comes back with a lot of experience, banged up a little bit last year. Is there pressure on a senior running back to have a big year, knowing that potentially he could continue, and not just him, but other Red Dragons could continue to play at the next level?
I think any senior at any school, like that's right. That's what you remember. That's I can tell you every game my senior year. I can tell you very little bit about the others. But I don't want to say that there's more pressure on him. He is one of the most talented kids in the area. He's a tremendous football player. It's been fun to watch him grow into a little bit of a leader this year. And, it breaks your heart for any of your kids if they suffer an injury. So, Antoine luckily was able to get about half the games in when it was all said and done. And, crazy, he led us in rushing, only, I think, starting 4 games at running back. So it tells you, how much we count on him. But if things go the way we hope with him, I really believe that he's going to have a tremendous year.
And then finally, as we wrap things up, Coach, having watched practice over the last couple of years, you've got a experienced staff behind you, led, of course, by Larry Kemp, who has pretty much seen it all in Valley High School football. Can you just talk about that staff and how much they mean to you in the program?
Well, it's why I keep going. If I didn't have these guys doing what they were doing, I'd probably be up in the stands or begging you to be your co-host or something like that. But I know, I'm involved actively with Trumbull County coaches. I know how difficult it is if you lose a staff member to replace them. And we've had great continuity on our staff, and it's a great group of guys. And I will tell you, I don't know what people would say outside of our room, but it's the most selfless group of guys I've ever worked with. We just pick each other up. There's a lot of, busting each other up pretty good, but that's a full-time job in itself, especially with Larry. But at the end of the day, we all have each other's backs, and it's one of the big reasons why I coach football.
Coach, thank you for a few minutes of your time. We'll be, getting in touch with you in just a few weeks as we get ready to broadcast that game when you host Howland on the 17th.
Well, we'll have the press box ready for you guys to roll. You get it, like I said, a view of the new scoreboard and everything else. So, we'll lay out the red carpet for you.
We appreciate it, Coach. Thank you for a few minutes of your time.
Already tell Coach Arnold I said hello.
I will do that. That is Coach Perry from the Niles McKinley Red Dragons. Return a lot of experience on both sides of the football. They open up with Howland. That game can be heard right here on Sports Radio 1240 and Western Reserve Radio. We'll take a break, come back, and we'll see what's trending on By All Means.
Golf in the Mahoning Valley starts at Mill Creek Golf Course. Mill Creek Golf Course is the host venue for the AJGA PGA Hope Program, 8 high school teams, and 2 collegiate teams. Mill Creek Golf Course is your Callaway certified golf club fitting facility. It was named the PGA of America's National Merchandiser of the Year for a public facility 2022. Book your tee time at 330-740-7112 or online at millcreekmetroparks.org.
Accidents happen. That's why you need Repair That Glass. Specializing in windshield repair, other auto glass. We offer a full range of automotive glass repairs. Our technicians can do everything from minor chip repair to a complete replacement. Your windows don't go up or down, they can fix that too, along with custom glass work and antiques. Repair That Glass is a family-run business for over 40 years. Repair That Glass. Call for your appointment now at 330-534-3192.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard, so you don't need to start foraging wild berries.
I was skeptical, but these are actually pretty good.
You don't need to sell your soul to the devil.
$15 is the best I can do.
You just need FeedThePig.org. Don't get left behind. Get tips and tools at FeedThePig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Welcome to Calvin's Barbershop.
You all got to see this.
I don't even want to know what you're looking at on that phone.
Well, you should. I was learning about the dangers of high blood pressure and that we need to get ours checked regularly. High blood pressure can increase the risk of heart attack or stroke, but this text program can help keep it at a healthy range. Just text Barbershop to 97779 to sign up.
I'll get right on it as soon as I'm done with this baby panda video.
Text Barbershop to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
Right back here on By All Means from the Gessler Propane Studios here in Struthers. And you heard Coach Perry kind of give it away. Coach Arnold from Warren Harding joins us in the next segment. Unbelievably, Steve is in his 12th year now as the head coach of the Raiders. We'll talk to him about Warren Harding here in 2023. What's trending? The Youngstown Phantoms are trending again. They were named the 2022-2023 USHL Organization of the Year in a vote by league members. The honor is the first for the Phantoms, who joined the league back in the 2009-2010 season and won their first championship that you heard right here on Western Reserve Radio. The Phantoms set a franchise record for fans at a game with over 5,600 for the Clark Cup clinching game. That is never easy for me to say, against Fargo, and then saw 6 players go in the NHL draft as high as the second round. We also released the high school football schedule we are going to do on Western Reserve Radio 2. That has been out for a couple of weeks. You heard me mention our first game on August 17th. You can go to our sister station, Sports Radio 1240's website at wbbw.com. Click at the very top of the website, High School Football 2023. The complete schedule is there. August 17th, Howland at Niles. We follow that up the next night with Canton McKinley and Warren Harding. That is an old rivalry we're excited to be part of once again. The Battle of Belmont for Week 2, Girard at Liberty, September 1st. We have an interesting interstate battle between the Farrell Steelers and the Warren Harding Raiders. That game will also have a little bit of a twist to it in the broadcast booth for that game. We'll reveal that information coming up in the next few weeks. September 8th, Cleveland St. Ignatius, who a lot of people say can win a state championship this year in D1, at the Austintown Fitch Falcons. September 15th, another rivalry between Blue and Whites, Poland and Hubbard, at Memorial Stadium in Hubbard for the 15th. September 22nd, looking forward to this one already. I know my partner Dave Clark is as well. Cheney and Warren Harding at Mollenkoff Stadium. September 29th, that game is open on our schedule currently. Couldn't find too many good matchups, could not narrow it down. October 6th, Massillon and Austintown Fitch from a Falcon Stadium, and weeks 9 and 10 are currently still open, as we will wait till we get later on in the season so we can provide you with the best matchup possible. Also want to talk a little bit about the Guardians moving into the second half of the season. Of course, they finished the first half exactly 500, which they've done the last few seasons, 500 or better. We all know Terry Francona's teams are better second half teams than first half teams, but let's break it down a little bit, because here's what I've got for you. Players I'm concerned about most in the second half of the season, there's 2. Players I think will have breakouts in the second half of the season, there's also 2. And there's one team that worries me the most, and I'll tell you about why that is here in a minute. We start with the players I am concerned about most, and you may be surprised to find out my player I'm concerned about most is Shane Bieber. Bieber just has not been consistent this year. He's still been good, but he hasn't been the Shane Bieber I think we expect him to. He's had a lot of big innings where he, in the years past, has been able to escape out of those big innings, maybe giving up a run or 2 instead of 3 or 4, like we saw in his last outing. Will he even be on the team come the trade deadline? The Guardians still own his rights for one more season next year in 2024. But how much trade value does he have? And let's think about it from this perspective. How much trade value does he have across Major League Baseball, the rest of the league? What do they think he's worth compared to what do the brass of the Guardians think he's worth? Do you trade him now, knowing that you've got the rest of this year and another year, and maybe you get a little more for him? Or do you wait till the deadline next year, or you do the very un-Cleveland sports-like thing and give him a contract? Only time will tell. Who is the other player I'm concerned about most? If you follow me on any social media platform, or we've talked baseball in the last month, it's going to be the same name I continue to talk about. It's Miles Straw in center field. Yeah, he can still go get it in the outfield. He's definitely playing at Gold Glove caliber again after winning a Gold Glove last year. But you almost assume he's going to make it out when he goes to the plate. He has not hit in an era where baseballs fly out of the ballpark. Miles Straw has not hit a home run in over 1,000 at-bats. Let me repeat that for you while you pick yourself up off the floor. 1,000 plus at-bats since his last home run. The numbers for the year, 236, no home runs, 15 RBIs, 10 steals. And you're probably saying, well, what do you expect? He's your 9-hole hitter. He's your 9-hole hitter because of those numbers. I mean, give me two things. Give me defense and be a threat on the base pass. And I'm not saying be Ronald Acuna Jr. and steal 40 before the break, but at least be a threat where you've got more than 10 bags stolen in an era now where they are crushing records for stolen bases with the pizza box bases we have now in Major League Baseball. So those are the two I am most concerned about. Who do I think will have strong second halves or even breakout second halves? This one may surprise you as well, but I'm going Josh Bell. And, Bell's numbers, they've been okay, but he's been consistently inconsistent in 2023. I think Francona has done him a favor the last month or so. He was brought in to protect Jose Ramirez. He didn't do that. Josh Naylor takes off and should have been an all-star. Top 10 in batting average, top 10 in runs batted in. That's an all-star. In an era where there's not a lot of 300 hitters, that's an all-star. Anyway, back to Josh Bell. They moved him down in the order, 5th, sometimes 6th, and I really think that it's going to take the pressure off. You're playing for your wife's hometown team because if you do not know, Josh Bell's wife is from Poland, Ohio. So, she was exceptionally excited when he signed the deal with the Guardians. He said that many times. Now he just needs to go out and earn the money. And I think he will. I think he will have a strong second half. And that doesn't mean he's going to go out and hit 25 home runs in the second half. This team doesn't hit home runs. But, if he can hit 265, 275, drive in some runs when they need him to, that's exactly what you're looking for. Here's the other name that's got me excited, and I have been focused on him probably since April when he was still playing in Akron. I'm talking about Gavin Williams, the number 1 pitching prospect in the organization. He picked up his first major league win in his last start before the break. You're talking 6'5", 6'6", power arm, mid to upper 90s on the fastball. Got a nice curveball, nice 12-6 curveball. Mixes in a couple other pitches in the repertoire. And here's what is his advantage for the most part. And of course, not necessarily in the division, but for the most part, this is going to be the first time a lot of people actually see Gavin Williams. Sure, there's tape, but every pitcher is different. Now, how does your fastball move? Is it in, out, up, down? How does his ball move? Because he's not that I'm going to throw 98 and it's straight. Guys, AA hitters can hit 98 if it's straight. Gavin Williams is now, I believe, entrenched in this rotation and is a future number 1 for the organization. So arrow up on Josh Bell and Gavin Williams, arrow down on Miles Straw and Shane Bieber. Now, my thoughts about this second half of the season, the rest of the division cannot hold on. The Tigers don't have enough pitching. They're young. They have some great talented players. Love me some Riley Green in center field. Think he's going to be a fantastic player for the Tigers for many years. But the Twins are the team we have to worry about the most. Because here's the question. The Twins went out and spent money in the offseason. They brought in Joey Gallo. They brought in Pablo Lopez. If they think they can win that division, and they can, they will go out and they will make moves, and they will spend some money to bring in some players. Now, yeah, we expect the Guardians may make some moves. They may even trade some players because we've seen them kind of do both in years past. But will they make a big move like I think the Twins will? Because in this era of baseball, all you have to do is get in. Once you get into the playoffs, anything is possible. Now, I know the Twins have their own questions. Their pitching staff isn't that deep. Their bullpen is okay. But they are clearly, to me, the two best teams in that division. So it will only tell us in time what the Twins decide to do or not do. Guardians, Pirates both off until Friday. Guardians head to Texas for a weekend series before heading to PNC Park in Pittsburgh for night games Monday, Tuesday, and a 12:35 game on Wednesday. So we will see how the second half plays out. We're going to get back to talking high school football. Joining us before the start of practice tonight is 12th year head coach Steve Arnold of the Warren Harding Raiders. And we will talk to Coach Arnold coming up after this quick break on By All Means.
Golf in the Mahoning Valley starts at Mill Creek Golf Course. Come out to the 36 beautiful hole design course by Donald Ross, and golf lessons are available by calling the team shop at 330-740-7112. Don't forget about family fun nights on Friday and Saturday evenings, a family of 4 with cart for only $25. Or visit the Wick Recreation Area and the lighted Par 3 course. Book your tee time today at 330-740-7112 or online at millcreekmetroparks.org.
During the fall and winter, grilling season never ends, and Gessler Propane is your local supplier that makes sure you get your hard-earned money's worth. Why go to gas exchanges to pay higher prices for tanks not filled to capacity? Gessler Propane makes sure you're prepared for year-round grilling with 100% filled tanks at a reasonable cost. See Bob Monday through Friday, 10 to 4, and Saturday, 9 to 3 at Gessler Propane, 702 Youngstown Poland Road, Struthers, or call 330-755-9119. Gessler Propane. They got gas.
Sandrock Concrete specializes in all types of concrete, driveways, sidewalks, basements, and garages. We also do stamp-colored concrete in many different designs. We do interior and exterior stonework, regular brick and block work. Sandrock Concrete is fully insured. Call Jerry Sandrock at 330-506-0013 for an estimate. Also find them on Facebook at Sandrock Concrete LLC. Sandrock Concrete, where you deal with the owner all the time.
Hey, let me ask you something. Would you seat your 3-year-old child on a windowsill? Would you seat them beside a lit fireplace or by the deep end of a pool? One last question. Would you seat your child in a car seat that's not correct for them? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Secure their future. Seat them in the correct car seat. For more information, visit safercar.gov/the right seat. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Miss an episode of By All Means, and you could miss a lot.
That's where it all begins, with the rich sports history that we have in the Valley. We're going to talk national, we're going to talk regional, but it all begins here at home. So that is where a lot of those topics and conversations that we have with you every Tuesday are going to come from.
By All Means, Tuesdays at 5, right here on Western Reserve Radio and streaming live on westernreserveradio.com.
This is Everett Fitzhugh, the radio voice of the NHL Seattle Kraken, and you're listening to the home of the Youngstown Phantoms, Western Reserve Radio.
Right back here on By All Means, our high school football camps, and here in the first night of doing that, we are joined on the phone by Warren Harding head coach Steve Arnold. And Coach, can you believe you're beginning year 12 at the helm there?
I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
I said, can you believe it is year 12 for you as the head coach there at Warren Harding?
Can I believe it's year 12? No, 12 years have gone by really fast.
So I got to ask, I've seen some quotes from you leading up to the start of this season. Do you feel like your team has something to prove after having a down year last year and not making the postseason?
Oh, most definitely we have something to prove. As a coaching staff, as a players, as a program, we have a lot to prove. We were well below our standards last year at Warren Harding, and we're looking forward to the 2023 season.
You look at that schedule, and we'll talk about it a little bit later, but you have never been afraid to pretty much play anybody, and that schedule, once again, this year is loaded. I mean, you start with Canton McKinley week 1. That's right out of the gate with a heck of a challenge.
Yeah, Canton. I mean, we don't run from anybody, and we'll play anybody anytime. We open up at home against Canton McKinley, and we're looking forward to that game. You know, Canton is a perennial power at the Division I level, so that's going to be a tough ball game. But you know, we're going to be ready on August 18th.
I'm asking every coach this: do you think the season starts too soon, and does it last too long?
You know, with the change last year when the season, it kind of it jumped on everyone because you're so accustomed to how long 2 days go, and you had that extra week, and then you know last year it was like, oh man, we open up next week, so it was a little bit different. And do I think it starts too soon? You know what? Not really. I think it starts when it starts, and you know it lasts when it lasts. So you play when you have to play, and you play who's on your schedule.
Knowing you as long as I have, I saw this number, and I was like, how do I ask Coach this? Coach, you gave up about 28 points per game last year. How much has defense been a focus for this upcoming season?
I mean, defense has been a focus. You know, just so far as a program, Mark, has been a focus. Defense, offense, special teams, the culture in which we try to create in the offseason has been a focus during this offseason. When you go 2-8, you know, you need to, reassess some things, and that's what I had to do as a head coach.
I also read that you want to be multiple on both sides of the football. Is that to be difficult to prepare for? Because you don't know what may work 1 week compared to the other. You could be a spread team 1 week, and you could run it down the team's throat and power the next week.
Well, I think first defensively, Mark, you know, because you see so many different type of offenses, you know, you need to be multiple to be able to defend the type of offenses that you may see from week to week. So I think that's a priority, Mark. And then I think the other part, Mark, is offensively, you know, we have to find a way to use our athletes and use our talent the best way we possibly can. So defensively and offensively, we need to be multiple.
You're replacing a fantastic quarterback that graduated in Dallas, Jet, and I know you're just getting into practice and getting into camp, Coach, but take me through the battle for the quarterback spot. How many are involved, and how is it going?
They're battling. You know, we talked about it in the off season, and you know, the two young men that are battling for the spot right now is Drew McCowan and Chaz Coleman, and they both have been up and down, and but they're getting better, and they're going to be fine. They're both going to be fine, and so we're looking forward to those guys getting behind the center and making the decisions that need to be made and leading our football team offensively. And obviously losing Dallas, tremendous talent on both sides of the football. But life goes on for Warren Hardy.
When you look at that fact that you're going to have a young quarterback under center the first couple of weeks, is this one of those where you feel like you might have to lean heavily on the offensive line and your running backs till the quarterbacks, whoever it may be, gets comfortable with the offense?
Well, I think that's a good question, Mark. I think the thing that we got to do with our quarterback situation, and our quarterback coach, Coach Sanders, is doing a great job with our quarterback, but we got to put those guys in position, to feel comfortable offensively and to make plays. But we have to utilize, our other weapons and not put the total responsibility on our quarterbacks, because we do have other weapons, and it's us as coaches to figure that out, of who we need to get the ball to and utilize all our weaponry best we can.
Coach, when you look at this season, obviously you said things can't stay the way they were last year. Is there one thing that you can kind of point at to say, if we can accomplish this on a weekly basis, it's really going to put us in a chance to compete and win a lot of football games?
Well, as one of the things you do as a head coach, Mark, is you assess and you reassess and you assess and you reassess. And as a head coach, I did that. And one of the things that we suffered at is, we had leads in the first half, and we relinquished those leads. And I think, part of it, we got to coach better, we got to play better, but a lack of depth. And so we had so many guys going both ways. And so we wore down the latter part of the third quarter into the fourth quarter. So now I think we have a lot more depth, especially at the skill position on both sides of the ball, where guys aren't playing offense, defense, offense. And you can't coach those guys on either side of the ball because they're playing a ton of downs. And so I think the depth is really going to help us this year, and a year of experience. And sometimes when you go through what we went through last year, and all these kids that return, they've come back stronger, physically and mentally. And so I think that bodes well for us.
Well, you talked about the schedule a little bit earlier, but I want to ask you about one game because it just kind of it stands out to me. You've played pretty much anybody and everybody, like you said, but it's a little different this year. You've got a pretty good football team crossing the state line, and the Farrell Steelers coming over there to play this year. Kind of tell me about how that game came to be, and is it a one-year deal, or do you go there next year now?
Well, we needed a game 3. We saw they were looking for a game 3, so one day I called Coach, and we talked and texted each other, and we were able to. I mean, it didn't take long. You're talking about a story program in the Farrell Steelers and the Harding Raiders, so I think it was a match made for us to play. And I think it's our throwback game. It's our Panther throwback game, that game. So we're excited about that. And I know they'll be excited to come here and play here at Warren Hardy. And, we're hoping to play them next year over in Farrell. But I think that's a game that, people will look forward to in this area.
Yeah, absolutely. It was one of those with my, I have a little bit of Pennsylvania ties, and I saw that game. I know they played Ursuline last year. They're playing you this year. And when they're coming across the line, they're taking on the Valley's best the last couple of years.
Well, they have a program that, that they can do that. They're talented, well coached. And so, they're battle tested. Their kids play hard. So, they're not going to be intimidated to come here.
Do you think, because their season starts a week after ours, you'll have you have a game or so more under your belt than they will? Is that advantage, disadvantage, or just nothing?
I think it's nothing. I don't know, but I would say just off the cuff, Mark, that it's nothing. I mean, yeah, we'll have a week under our belt more than they will so far as the schedule is concerned, but I don't think it's anything.
Finally, Coach, what is a key for you for this season? Like if you feel like, we're a better unit together as a team, or what is one thing that if you feel like if that clicks, maybe off the field, that you'll have a better season this year?
I just think of your maturity, Mark. I just think sometimes you just need to mature physically and mentally. And sometimes people just look at it from a physical point of view, but it's mental too. When you played as many young kids, as many inexperienced kids as we had to play last year, it was difficult. And so maturity is going to play a part. Injuries always play a part, staying healthy and, confidence, getting out of the gate early and breeding some confidence would do wonders for our team this year.
Finally, Coach, as we wrap up with you, last question for you. Staffs don't get talked about an awful lot except, amongst the football circles. And you've got a great staff there working with you again this year.
Yeah, staff has been great. Have a new defensive coordinator, Chris Kasork, former head coach, up in the Cleveland area, a Mooney grad. He's been down there, knows Northeastern Ohio football. Mickey Secor, a name that's synonymous with area football. He's joined the staff as, coaching the linebackers. Delrico Murray, who played at Kent State, played in the CFL, is coaching the corners. And then, holdovers, Tony Reed, Anthony Elias, Tim Calhoun, Rashad Shannon, Paris Bruner, Jim Kagi. All these guys Dante Campbell, Greg Lazari, who used to be a head coach, is now on the staff. So I have 3 former head coaches on the staff, and we bonded well. And, sometimes you say, and guys don't want to admit this, but, when you're the smartest guy in the room, you better find another room. and so, you bring guys in with some experience who've done it, and I was able to do that, and we're looking forward to this season.
Coach, I appreciate it. We will see you that first Friday night here on Western Reserve Radio and Sports Radio 1240 when you host Canton McKinley. Your athletic director, your staff, you always been gracious, and we're looking forward to being there on August 18th.
Hey, look forward to you guys being here. That'll be a great night here. You guys will get a chance to see the new facility. We'll be in our new locker rooms then, and so we're looking forward to it, Mark.
All right, Coach. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
That's Coach Arnold, unbelievably, in his 12th season at the helm. And I can't tell you how long he's been at Warren Harding. See, we all know he was coaching basketball before he took over the football program. We will see the Raiders 3 times this year on Western Reserve Radio 2 and Sports Radio 1240. August 18th, Canton McKinley and Warren Harding from Molotov Stadium, 6:40 pregame, 7 o'clock kickoff. Myself and Dave Clark. September 1st, we've got a few surprises in store for you for this one. Farrell and Warren Harding again from Molotov, 6:40 pregame, 7 o'clock kickoff. And later on in the season, September 22nd, the Cheney Cowboys, the Warren Harding Raiders, 6:40 pregame, 7 o'clock kickoff, right here on Western Reserve Radio and Sports Radio 1240. Again, if you haven't seen the complete schedule, head over to WBBW.com. Click on the tab at the top, High School Football 2023. The complete schedule is there. All of the episodes of this show also available to listen to or download there on WBBW.com or their Facebook page. We are, 5 weeks away from the start of the high school season? On that August 17th, the earliest start to the high school football schedule in the history of high school football in the state of Ohio. And a lot of questions to be answered. New athletic directors, new head coaches, a lot of new players stepping up into prominent positions. So we will learn along with you what the season is going to be like. Who are some of the teams? We expect certain teams to be good every year, but there's always a surprise. We'll wrap up the show next. It's By All Means.
Golf in the Mahoning Valley starts at Mill Creek Golf Course. Mill Creek Golf Course is the host venue for the AJGA PGA Hope Program, 8 high school teams, and 2 collegiate teams. Mill Creek Golf Course is your Callaway certified golf club fitting facility. It was named the PGA of America's National Merchandiser of the Year for a public facility 2022. Book your tee time at 330-740-7112 or online at millcreekmetroparks.org.
Welcome to Calvin's Barbershop.
You all gotta see this.
I don't even want to know what you're looking at on that phone.
Well, you should. I was learning about the dangers of high blood pressure and that we need to get ours checked regularly. High blood pressure can increase the risk of heart attack or stroke, but this text program can help keep it at a healthy range. Just text Barbershop to 97779 to sign up.
I'll get right on it as soon as I'm done with this baby panda video.
Text Barbershop to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
Western Reserve Radio is the Valley's online source for sports talk and local live events. Tune in and be a part of their live weekly shows, as well as all of the hard-hitting action of Youngstown Phantoms hockey, high school football, and the GDFL. Find them at westernreserveradio.com. Tune in and the Live 365 app to be a part of the area's sports conversation. Be sure to visit them on Facebook at Western Reserve Radio and on Twitter at WR_radio.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Miss an episode of By All Means, and you can miss a lot.
To the radio play-by-play voice and our buddy back from here at Youngstown, it is the voice Fitz. Everett Fitzhugh, my friend, how are you?
Man, it feels good to hear your voice again, Mark. Everything's going well, and definitely excited to be back on the airwaves briefly for here in Youngstown.
By All Means, Tuesdays at 5, right here on Western Reserve Radio and streaming live on westernreserveradio.com.
Let's be real. The odds of a high school athlete getting a college scholarship and making it to the pros are pretty slim. Don't get me wrong. It's okay to dream of becoming a pro athlete, even a famous one. But that's not why I play. My reason why? I love the competition.
My reason why is community.
My reason why is leadership.
My reason why is to challenge myself.
My reason why is love for the game.
And hey, if we don't make it to the pros or onto the cover of Sports Illustrated, that's okay. Because there's every reason to believe we'll excel in something even bigger than sports. We'll excel in life.
There are lots of great reasons to play high school sports. Tell us your reason using the hashtag #MyReasonWhy.
This message presented by the NFHS and the Ohio High School Athletic Association.
You're listening to Western Reserve Radio at westernreserveradio.com on the Live 365 network and the Live 365 app.
Wrapping up By All Means here on Western Reserve Radio, part of the iMeda1 network. Thank you to today's high school coaches, Jim Perry, 6th year at the helm of the Niles McKinley Red Dragons, and Steve Arnold in his 12th season as the head coach of the Warren G. Harding Raiders. Don't forget Cleveland Cobras football coming up Saturday right here on Western Reserve Radio. About 6:50 or so, we'll take the air. 7 o'clock kickoff against the Hurricanes. You know, that action right here on Western Reserve Radio. Lots more high school coaches coming in the upcoming weeks. We're also going to talk next week about the Fantasy Football Expo that is coming to the Hall of Fame in August. We will have representation from that about the Fantasy Football Expo. You know you're thinking about your team already, even though training camp hasn't even got close to opening up yet. So we will talk fantasy football. We'll talk to another Valley coach next week as well. And, of course, more Cobras football right here on Western Reserve Radio. That is going to do it for today's show. For owner-operator Jim Craven, Dave Ferris, who is my executive producer and sometime co-host. My name is Mark Means. You've been listening to the 140th episode of By All Means, and all of those have been proudly brought to you by our friends at Mill Creek Golf Course. Visit millcreekmetroparks.org for more information. We'll talk to you next Tuesday.